and welcome to the Late Leadership Project by Inspireleadership. My name is Misael, and I'm part of the team here at Inspireleadership. So today, we want to talk about setting SMART goals. Okay, we all set goals. We all have our own reasons for setting goals for our teams, churches, families, whatever it is. But we want to talk today about setting SMART goals. Okay, so a little bit about why we want to set SMART goals. Okay, 71% of New Year's resolutions go unresolved by January 15th, meaning people give up on these 2 weeks into the new year. 71% of people. Now, the reason why is that they don't write them down. They're not specific and they don't write them down. What happens when you write them down? If you write down your goals, you make yourself 42% more likely to complete them. 42% more likely to complete them. That's huge. People who have specific goals on top of writing down a goal, if they have a specific goal, we'll talk about what specific means, they are 30% more likely to accomplish them. 30% more likely when you're being specific and you're writing down your goals, okay? So let's go a little bit into what a SMART goal is, okay? It's a 5-word acronym. It's for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Okay, so we're going to go through all 5 and how you set that up. Now, as we talk, I'm going to use an example of a youth group who wants to increase their attendance. Okay, so we're going to use that as an example, but you can follow along with your own example if you want to watch this with your team or with anybody else, so you guys can have a discussion as we talk. Definitely go ahead and hit the pause button after every acronym and talk a little bit about that, and we'll go all the way at the end and we'll have an example. Okay, so let's move on here. The S is for specific, simplistic, and clear, okay? We want to make sure that you're specific about your goal, okay? You're not having just a general goal. So this is what it kind of looks like. So a good goal would look something like this: to better our Wednesday night Bible study. But the problem with that is that it's not specific enough. It's just, I want to make things better. But if I want to make things better, how do I know that they got better? If they did. Okay, we might feel it, we might be able to see it, but we won't be able to tell anybody or tell our team in general why it got better. So we want to be specific. So here's a better way to write a specific goal. Increase attendance to our Wednesday night Bible study. You see how attendance is the measure that we're going to use to say whether things got better, whether we met our goal. We're going to increase our attendance to our Bible study. That is very specific on what you want to do, okay? So you want to be specific on the goal that you want to reach, okay? Let's go on to the next one. Measurable. That's with our M, okay? Measurable serves 3 purposes. You can track your progress. So somewhere in the middle of your journey of trying to reach that goal, you can say, where am I? Are we almost there? Or are we not, okay? Do we need to make some shifts? Do we make some adjustments to make sure we meet our goal? Do we need, where are we at right now? So we know where we started, now where are we going with it, okay? And it also lets you know when you completed your goal. So if you just want to make, again, like I said before, your Bible study better, there's really no way to say, I completed that goal, right? But if you want to just increase your attendance and you make a measurement of that, then you know you've reached that goal, okay? Doesn't mean you stop there, but it does mean that you reach this goal, okay? And it's also numeric in nature, okay? So usually it's a percentage, it's a amount, or maybe it's a time, okay? So we're gonna use this as an example. A good example is just saying, hey, increase attendance to our Bible study, right? That's a good goal. We talked about that already, but that's your specific goal. But how do you make that better? Well, you make it better by adding a numeric number to it, or some kind of measurement, right? So increase attendance to our Bible study by 10 people. You see, just by adding that 10, now you know when you've completed the goal. Now you know when you get to 5 people, you know where you're at towards that goal. That you need 5 more people, you're halfway there, okay? That makes it more specific and measurable as you go. Now again, your goal may be a little different, but make sure you make a number, a percentage, or something that you can tie to so you know where you're at in completing that goal. Next, we're going to the A. Now, A, if you research this, can go in 2 ways, okay? It can go into attainable and assignable, okay? We're going to use a little bit of both of them, but I want to talk about attainable for a moment, okay? Attainable means this goal has to be attainable within a certain reasonable amount of time, okay? So if I wanted to increase my attendance and I only have 5 people coming to my Wednesday night study, I don't want to go from 5 to 500, right? That's just way out there. And if I want to do this within 6 months or a year or something like that, that's maybe way too out there, right? So we want to make it attainable, right? So that's why 10 people makes it more attainable within a certain time frame. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it makes it more attainable, but also outside my comfort zone. Because if I go from 5 to only 6 people, and I say, oh, I want to reach 6 people, that's not too hard to do. One person showing up completes the goal. But if I go from 5 to 10 to maybe 15, then I have to do some work, and I'm not necessarily lethargic about completing that goal, and neither is my team. They're a little bit more motivated. Okay, it's something higher to reach, right? So we want to set challenging goals. But we will also want to make them assignable, okay? So we're going to go into a couple examples here of what that means, okay? So a good goal would be the team will work on social media posts to invite people to our Bible study, okay? That's the objective to reach the goal, right? But it just still makes the whole team kind of responsible for the whole thing, right? And it's not necessarily broken down into pieces. So let's go to a better way of framing that, okay? Joel will post weekly Facebook invitations for our Wednesday night Bible study, okay? You see how that's still specific, and it's assigned to a specific person, okay? You can assign it to a certain group, depending on how large your group is, but if you have 3 or 4 people, you're gonna assign each person something to do, including yourself, so that you all can reach towards that goal at a certain moment. Now, if you don't have enough objectives, you split it in between 1 or 2 people, okay? So we'll go a little bit into what this looks like, but it's assignable. You can assign certain aspects of the goal to people, okay? Now let's go to relevant. Now this is really important, all right? It's really important to what motivating your team, motivating people to follow you on this goal and this track, and even motivating yourself on why you're doing this. This is why are you doing this goal, okay? So the goal should highlight results, not just activities, okay? It should highlight results. What happens if more people come to my Bible study? What happens? So, you know, a good goal might start off as, by increasing our attendance, we will be able to show how effective we are, right? So that's a good goal. You know, you can show your pastor, your supervisor, your team how effective you were, but it's not really intrinsic, right? It's not really to a higher calling, a higher purpose, right? And who really cares if you're effective or not, right? But if we go to a higher calling there, we could probably come up with the phrase that says, increasing attendance will allow us to reach more youth and help us have an impact on addressing issues within our community. You see how where it says addressing, it allows us to address issues within our community, because as people show up, we can then teach and pray and help them out in that case. It's more intrinsic, it's more outside purpose when it comes to that relevant piece. So make sure that you're tying in this to a greater purpose, not just something you want to accomplish, okay? And the last piece is time bound, okay? You want to set a date. You want to set a specific date, okay? So what does this look like? Well, a good goal will say, by this time next year, we're going to increase attendance. It's good, but it's not specific enough, okay? So we want to go a little bit further, and we want to say, we want you to set a date and say, increase attendance to our Bible study by June 1st, 2018, okay? So what does that mean? That means that you're being specific, you're setting a date, and you're holding your feet and your team to the fire and saying, we're going to complete this by this date. Now, if you don't, it's okay, you make adjustments, right? So don't be fearful of setting a date just because you may not or may achieve it. But it's the point of setting the date. There's something psychological with you and your team and saying, we have to meet it. It gives you pressure to make sure that you're setting that goal and setting that date. So then you can move on to other projects and other things that are of importance, okay? So here you go, you got the SMART goal, okay? It's specific, measurable, attainable, and assignable, and it's relevant and timeable, okay? We have some bonus tips. Once you set this goal, you want to do 2 things. You want to make it visual. Make your SMART goal visual. You send it in an email, you put it on a poster board, you send a picture of it, whatever it is you have to do, make it visual. It's important for people to see this goal regularly, okay? That's the second point, is make it regular. Review this with your team, with your spouse, with whoever it is, regularly. I've heard a lot of people that use this SMART goal. They use it in companies and corporations. But the number one thing they always say is that it's great to start off with, but we never review it. So we always throw it away, put it in the closet, and forget about it. So it does no effect. Everybody that I've heard that says we review it regularly, those are the people who accomplish the goal. They review where they're at, what needs to be done. How do we get there a little bit quicker, okay? So they talk about reviewing the goal. So if you have to do this in every meeting, if you have to do this once a week, whatever it is, review the goal and make it visual for you and your team, okay? So the last thing we want to go to an example. What does a SMART goal look like when we put all those pieces together? Well, let's read this with me. We will increase our attendance by 10 people by June 1st, 2018. To see this through, Joe will begin to send out invitations weekly via social media. Marie will text or call visiting youth to invite them to our Wednesday night Bible study. We hope to see an increase in attendance and in turn see lives changed as a result of attending. You see how all the pieces fit together? You have a time-bound piece, you have a specific attendance goal, you have a measurable goal of 10 people, you have assignable projects to Joe and Marie. So that all comes together to make the SMART goal, okay? So at the end of the day, put this into practice. We have a free resource that you can get on the link below that you can download that will walk you through this process for you and your team. It's a free PDF. You can download it and use it with your team. Okay?
You can always reach out to us at inspireleadership@outlook.com. Also on Facebook at Inspire Leaders and on Instagram at Inspire Leadership. Thank you. Be blessed.